Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Chillin and Millin. This is a magic-based podcast presented by three people who have all just gotten out of an abusive relationship, but have all had to deal with it again as we've all had to play with Oko in 3 different formats.
Oh, God, why?
I love the fact that literally all 3 of us, within the space of like 2 weeks, have had to deal with Oko in a different place, and we're just like,
repeatedly
why?
and gratuitously.
Yeah, it just makes me laugh that this is just the gift that keeps on giving. Like, it turns out that they made an overpowered magic card. It got banned in where it was a problem, and so everyone holding their playsets of Oko just turned to other formats and went, "Oh yeah, good point, those ones."
Yeah, can't play it in Standard or Pioneer? Fine, I'll just go play it in Modern and Legacy.
Is it banned in Pioneer? I didn't think it was banned in Pioneer.
I thought it was banned in Pioneer.
I thought it was, along with Nature... Oh, no, I'm thinking about... No, I'm thinking about something else. Ignore me.
I'm looking it up now. Hang on a minute. Oko, Thief of Crowns.
I thought it was
we're professional.
With... Am I dreaming stuff
Veil
up?
of Summer? I know Veil of Summer's banned.
Yeah. The Oko and Nexus are banned. It was the last band restriction announcement.
Right, of course they were. Right, I do apologise. Yeah, sorry, weird. I honestly completely blanked that. I think for some reason, anytime I hear the word Oko, my brain just shuts off, so I just completely ignored the fact that it was banned in Pioneer.
Yeah, so it's now banned in Brawl, Pioneer, and Standard. And there's calls that it probably should be banned in Modern as well.
Do you think it's going to... Genuine question. First thing to start with, do you genuinely think it's going to get banned in Modern? Because I don't. Hi, to Hugh here. The following conversation is going to show me in my most stupid of forms, arguing that Oko Thief of Crowns should not in fact be banned because it is not something which is damaging towards the modern metagame. This, of course, is contrary to the news that literally the day after recording this, Oko Thief of Crowns has been banned in Modern. I please ask that you wait with us while Hugh acts like an idiot.
I'm not sure. Generally, I don't think we've had enough big modern tournaments since it came out to understand. I think we need to wait for like the first couple of modern GPs. It is a lot of decks are playing it in modern. Let me just get Goldfish up and I'll check what the metagame is, but it's a lot.
Right. Because like, hear me out on this one, and obviously feel free to call me out on this if I'm talking out of my proverbial. But as far as I'm concerned at the moment, a lot of the ban list for Modern, or at least in more recent times, has been to nerf either very specific decks or combos. And I'd argue Oko's not the linchpin of a deck, and nor is it the linchpin of a combo. Because you look at things like Iovugin, which was definitely the linchpin of the Eldrazi decks. You look at things like Faithless Looting, which was the linchpin of graveyard decks. Things like Splinter Twin, which was a combo. All that good stuff. And you realise that maybe it's not... I don't think Modern right now does the same thing that Standard and Pioneer does in his ban lists, where they just ban cards that are just good. They ban enablers.
This is an interesting conversation, and we can have it, and I will address it. But why don't we introduce ourselves first, and then we can talk about it when I talk about
what are you talking about? It's absolutely not been like 10 minutes, and we still don't know who each other are. Yeah, fine. Who are you then, boy?
I'm William. I am a L1 judge of the podcast, and I mainly play constructed formats like Modern and Pioneer and Canadian Highlander. And as I will now complain about for the next 5 minutes, I've been playing an awful lot of Modern over Christmas. So I go home over the Christmas holidays because I don't have a job.
Yeah. Oh, all right. All right, go on, boast about it, guy with a family.
Yes, so, and there's no local LGS, so I decided to boot up Magic Online and play a bit of Modern on Magic Online. And I've been jamming a blue-red control deck, so I've been jamming Blue Moon quite happily.
One day I'm going to get you off, is it? And it's going to be the day that I've been waiting for.
Yeah, that'll be a cold day in hell you get me to stop playing blue-red, Hugh. I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah, so I decided I looked at I looked at the Goldfish modern metagame. I saw there's a ridiculous number of 3 and 4 color decks in the top 8, and decided, you know what, they need a Blood Moon in. And then I also noticed that there is 2 decks in the top 8, one of which is humans. So notably, there's only one deck that's probably playing Path to Exile. And you know what? I thought I'm going to madcap experiment into Platinum Imperium and get some people. So I've been having some fun with that.
I'm so glad that's a combo that's just become a thing now, because
It's not really a thing anymore.
I've seen it on multiple people's streams doing it, and I'd literally never seen this as a combo until our mate James did it at a GP, and we both called him crazy for doing it, and now people are starting to do it, and I don't want to admit to him that he was right.
So at that point, I'd already done it because I played Blue-Red quite a lot and knew it worked. It just wasn't very good at that GP because there was a lot of white floating about for some reason. This was GP Birmingham, right?
It was.
No, GP Liverpool.
Yeah, sorry, yes, that's the one.
Yeah, there was a lot of white floating about for that GP. And it works very badly when there's a lot of white floating about because you get Path to Exile, and it's just terrible against Path to Exile.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I absolutely did not help that when I brought my White Hate Bears deck.
No, absolutely not. But yeah, so basically, the modern... I was very curious, actually, because I hadn't really heard anybody talk about modern for a while after Hogak banning, basically. Because Hogak banning and Pioneer getting into gear basically happened pretty quickly. Or it feels like it did. So there's been loads and loads and loads of coverage of Pioneer and how the Pioneer metagame's been stable down, but none of how the modern metagame's kind of done since Pioneer really shot up. It turns out it's a bit of a garbage fire.
It's a strange one because there's not really been a major injection of obnoxious cards with the exception of Oko. It's just that it's gotten obnoxious again.
So there kind of has. So since the banning of Hogak, it's allowed other cards from Modern Horizons to actually start shining. And the big one there is Urza Lord High Artificer.
Oh, your boy.
In like the green, blue, black Urza decks. Yeah, trying to win with kind of Fop to Sword, I think is their main win con. But like just other things, and then you can just do stupid stuff where you like Infinite and all that sort of thing. Actually, no, this is just a straight mid-range deck, the deck that is showing me here. But it's just like, it turns out Urza's just good enough. If you make all your artifacts tap for mana and stuff, it's
who would have thought who would have thought that a Mox Sapphire was a good card?
Yeah, who would have thought? Anyway, yeah. So and then there's kind of 3 really good decks in the moment in the modern meta. So there's the blue-green with a splash of black Urza decks. There's Eldrazi-tron, which is maybe my most hated deck of all time.
I don't know. I still hate Storm.
Oh, Storm's fine. I play blue. You Storm, as soon as you figure out how to like what the linchpin card is in Storm, it's fine. But Eldrazi-tron is, I think it might be one of the most frustrating decks ever to play against because it always feels like they have it. And then the next one is Simic Titan. So this is the kind of the it's just you're trying to ramp basically into Primeval Titan and then do broken stuff with it.
I'm looking and seeing that Death Shadow is also turning up, but do continue.
Yeah, Death Shadow is also up there and stuff. But notably, Urza didn't used to be, or the Urza deck, which preceded this one, didn't used to include green or green. The Simic Titan used to, I believe it used to splash red, but it didn't include blue. The next one is Bant Snowblade. The deck after that is 4-color Death Shadow. So that's 4-color, no white. Then Grixis Death Shadow. Then Bant Snow Control, which is quite cool. And then Humans. So notably, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the top 8 decks play Oko. So
do you think... I'll be honest with you, I don't think it's going to get banned in Modern because I think Magic has Magic always does this, and Magic has the problem where it gets given a really nice, shiny new toy, and everyone goes, it's getting shoved everywhere. You know, you've got to open up Magic players' mouths and make sure they're not choking on it. That's how much they're shoving it places. And eventually it will just start to disappear down a little bit. Because I remember when Art Like Phoenix first got presented to the community, and so many people just went, well, time to play Is It Phoenix? And that was around for like 3 months of everyone just playing it. And then people started to realize that it wasn't quite as good as they thought it was, and it still remained a deck, but it kind of popped down slightly. And I think we're potentially in that point with Oko now, where everyone's like using Oko and loving Oko, and eventually we're going to be like, probably
No, I disagree.
Stop a little bit.
So here's the thing, right? Is It Phoenix is kind of a non-comparison because it only actually appeared in one deck, maybe two, but mainly one, the Is It Phoenix deck. And it just happened to be that one deck was dominating, and then it dropped off because people found foils to it, and then everybody could like sideboard for it. But if I list these names off, so green-black Urza Lord High Artificer, Simic Titan, Bant Snowblade, 4-color Death Shadow, and Bant Snow Control. That is 2 control decks, an aggro combo deck, a mid-range, and 2 mid-range decks.
Oh, it's seeing play in a lot of places.
Wizards have been shown to show that like they're willing to ban stuff for meta diversity. So if it becomes mandatory to play green, and like if in the next GP, if the top 8, it's basically mandatory to play green in the top 8, and the reason why it's mandatory to play green is because of Oko, that normally means they would consider it for a ban. They've cited this sort of thing before, of deck diversity and card diversity, but I'm really not sure. I think everybody's basically accepted at this point that Oko was a mistake.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I've heard multiple people call it the most powerful Planeswalker ever printed.
I disagree, but that's a conversation for a whole different day.
Well, what Planeswalker has had this many impacts across this many formats?
I don't think it's about its impact now. I think it's about long-lasting impact. I don't think you can call something the best Planeswalker ever made when it's not been out for 3 months. I think you've got to spend a bit of time just letting everything settle and letting everything else happen before you judge. Because the same thing happened with Jace. Like, everyone was saying that Jace was absolutely incredible and amazing and the greatest thing ever. And yet, we now know that it's not the greatest thing in the entire world because it's unbanned and it's fine in the format. I do generally think we need to sit down and wait before making that point.
My argument is, though, that Jace never made that much of a splash. Like, it never got a chance to make it. Granted, it was broken in Standard at the time. It never really got a chance in Modern, so we never saw its like splash it could have made in Modern. And you're right, it's not a big deal now. Jace never really I think Jace the Mind Sculptor's played in one deck in Legacy, which is Miracles, and I don't believe it's played in Vintage.
I just do think we need to be careful about not looking back on things with rose-tinted glasses now that we're in an okay state. Let's not forget how much of a problem he was in Standard in his time. There was a reason why Jace was banned for the significant amount of years between his banning in Standard and his unbanning in Modern because of just how much impact he made. But that is beside the point.
I actually think it's generally accepted now that you probably could have unbanned Jace a lot before, like in Modern. They waited probably too long to unban him.
It was the boogeyman moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I'm not sure. My point is, Jace was generally considered the most powerful Planeswalker ever printed, and he hasn't made as much as a splash in constructed formats as Oko has.
I do just think we need to spend a bit of time just waiting to see, because it's very easy to make very, very rash and quick decisions and statements when we haven't let everything settle down. Because a meta will settle, and if the meta happens to settle at an Oko level and everything's playing Oko because Oko is that powerful, then I will retract my statements. But if it happens that people do start to realize that maybe Oko's not quite as amazing as they thought he was and they start to pull him back, then we can go back to a normal status quo.
I'm not gonna lie. Modern players are normally pretty good at figuring out that something's not very good quite fast.
But yet it's been 3 months. But we'll have to wait and see. I'm surprised though, Will, you're having a conversation we don't have names yet.
Oh yes, sorry. So the quiet one who's been eschewing himself in this morning discussion. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. I don't know much about modern. I didn't think I had much to say in that conversation, but yeah, I'm Sam. I'm a 5/5 Minotaur judge, and I play a lot of Commander.
He does beat you, Will.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I accept that I'm going to lose to a level 5 Minotaur judge. It's the horns.
It is the horns. They get you every time. Yeah, I mean that's me really. Shall we move on to our first topic?
Well, we haven't introduced our beautiful host.
Oh, we need to talk about Hugh.
I was going to say, number one, what have you been doing this week? And number two, apparently I don't have a name.
Yeah, we don't have a name for Hugh. Please introduce yourself. I feel so bad.
No, it's fine, mate. No, I'll sit here. I'll sit here, introduce the podcast, and let you guys talk. I'll just be the guy behind the camera.
Yeah, you can just.
I'll be the Stephen Colbert of this entire thing. I'll just kind of occasionally give a monologue. It's fine, man. I'm Hugh. I'm the podcast's sit at the back and not say anything guy. Apparently, no, but yeah, we can get on to our first topic if you really want to.
No.
Oh dear. No,
Oh, dear.
We can get onto this first, because to be fair, this first topic does tie into what I've been doing this week. Because I thought the best way we could go into this is before we talk about Theros Beyond Death, the giant Minotaur in the sky that's waiting to descend upon us. I thought we'd check in with Pioneer, the format that's it's still in its infancy, but this is now the second year we've had Pioneer, and I think there's a couple of interesting points we can make about it. Now I've been brewing in Pioneer, and I still have my reservations about Wizards abandoning Modern for Pioneer, and that's just because I am a Modern player as well. But I've decided that Pioneer is a format that I'm worth investing in for one reason and one reason only. And it's the fact that I finally get to brew, maybe successfully, around Aetherflux Reservoir.
Oh boy.
So
okay, Hugh. So if you want to play Flux Reservoir, I've got a Canadian Highlander list to send you.
No, no, we've talked about this. Get off my trousers.
Wait, so how does it work?
Right, so I'll explain why I've decided that Pioneer's the format for it. Standard was an issue because there weren't enough cards in Standard to make Aetherflux Reservoir work particularly well. I got an Aetherflux Reservoir win once in Modern, and that was with my mono-white life gain cats deck that I played 2 Aetherflux Reservoirs in for the meme.
I have no recollection of this deck.
This was back when I played Standard while you were playing Modern. This was back when Armenket and Kaladesh were both legal. So I was playing a mono-white cats deck that was playing really bad cats, but it was playing the Cat Lord, and it was playing a Ajani's Welcome, and it was just about gaining life and just going that way.
Oh, you mean Regal Caracal?
That's the one. And I played 2 of those in that mod. Problem is, because I tried to brew around it, you couldn't brew around the Aetherflux Reservoir particularly successfully in Standard in its time, because there just weren't enough cards to make it work.
Yeah.
And so I basically went, and then I tried to do it in Modern, and I realized that it's just not powerful enough in Modern to work properly, because at the time the decks were very, very fast. There's just too many answers to it. So when Pioneer turned up, I hadn't quite figured it out yet until about this week. I was looking through some old decks, found the Cats deck, and so found my 2 Aetherflux reservoirs. And suddenly my brain went, I've got an idea. And I've realized one thing, and that's that there are 8 zero-trop equipment cards in Pioneer.
Yeah.
There's also SRAM.
There is. Oh my god, are you actually just building Cheerios in Pioneer?
I'm not just going to build Cheerios. I'm going to build a variation of Cheerios. I can't remember the card. There's a 3-drop artifact that gives all non-creature spells you control improvise.
Yeah.
Basically, I've decided. Basically, I've decided that I think using that and paradoxical outcome, I think I can go off with Aetherflux Reservoir, and so I'm building that.
You might not even need Saram for that, to be honest with you.
I think I'm going to go for Saram just to go off with the combo, because I was sat there and I was thinking about it, and I'm like, I think this just works. Because every time you play a 0-drop equipment, every time you play a 0-drop, you just net a card and you don't need to do anything with it. You can play a couple of 1-drop 1-drop equipments in there as well, and they just net you. They instead of netting you a positive, they net you an equal. So you play it, you tap it for 1 mana, and then you draw. So you kind of just stay where you were. Instead of gaining advantage, you just stay where you were. You stay the same mana. So I think you can actually go off with that, get enough of those equipments down to play Aetherflux Reservoir on the same turn, and then potentially next turn just go off.
Oh, I see what you mean. Right? Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes.
So why not also play Ornithopter in there?
Because it's not an equipment.
I get it's not an equipment, but it still draws you cards off paradoxical outcome, and in worst comes to the worst, it's something you can put all the equipment on.
True, but it unfortunately doesn't give you cards off SRAM. I might still play a 4 of them, but we'll have to wait and see. The deck list is still being finalized, but anyway, wait for that at an FNM near you at some point.
I cannot wait.
What I will just say about the state of Pioneer is we have moved now. So originally when Pioneer was created, we were having almost weekly or bi-weekly bans, ban and restriction announcements.
Then they shifted it to being every Monday, but they didn't have to ban something every Monday.
Yeah, basically. And we've now officially come to the end of this. So the last thing banned in Pioneer was on the 15th of December. I think it was Oko, Thief of Crowns. Shocking. And Nexus of Fate.
Yeah, Nexus of Fate was one of those sleeper cards that got banned in... Everyone forgets that it got banned in a very, very specific place, because it got banned...
in 1v1, wasn't it? So, banned in one best of one.
Yeah, it was banned in best of one standard on Arena, because it had a ridiculously good turn 1, game 1 win rate, and it was really unfun to play against, because your opponent just sat there and waited for 10 minutes while you won. This is my issue with Arena, and it's currently turning up with the Cauldron Familiar decks. It's just really slow to watch combos happen online, and I know that's just an issue with all online Magic, but it's really starting to annoy me.
It's worse in Arena. So on MTGO, it's fine because you can just F6 through it, right? And you can just go, you play it out, you can play the combo as fast as you can play the cards. On Arena, if it's not like a loop that you've if it's not like an obligation loop, if it's a loop that requires you to do stuff, you've got to sit through all the blooming animations. And they just take forever.
Well, that's the problem, because I was playing against a guy that had a load of Cauldron Familiars out, and at the end of every single one of my turns, I had to sit for 2 minutes as I watched him sack a Cauldron Familiar, bring it back with food, sack the food to bring back the next Cauldron Familiar, sack the Cauldron Familiar, bring it back with the... And this was every single turn. I'm like, all of this for you to make me lose 3 life.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those where I'm like, I don't want to be part of this right now.
That's the nice thing about shortcuts in paper, declarations of loops and stuff.
You can literally just say to them, I'm going to do this, 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 and it's like, cool. What will the board state look like at the end of that? This. All right, then. And then you just carry on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very frustrating to play against. It's what stops me playing Crazy Cat online, because I can't be bothered to go through all the rigmarole of trying to actually execute that combo.
Yeah, but anyway, we are getting off topic. Pioneer it's in a good place. So obviously, there's been not many bans, and didn't you say they're all being synced up now? Pioneer's being synced up with everything else.
Yeah.
But we are having a change because this was on December 16th. So this is a long while ago. This is almost a month ago, but it's apparently something which passed quite a lot of us by because it wasn't a major announcement. It was made during a banned and restricted announcement in the explanations when nothing was banned. But reading directly from it, what it says is going forward, we'll no longer be making a commitment in advance to when the next BNR update will be. While we still expect changes to come in a similar pace and will always announce changes on a Monday, we'll be allowing some flexibility in the exact week of changes. So, weirdly, we're not getting like regular ban and restriction announcements in terms of it's going to be on this exact date and we're going to know the exact date every single week.
So, as far as I'm aware, this sounds like a really good thing to me, because why they've done it is, why I believe they've done it is so if there's a major tournament coming up and they've locked themselves into having a banned and restricted announcement a week before a major tournament and there's a card that's a problem that they want to ban, it's so they can secretly push that back by a week so people have chance to change their decks before GPs and Mythic Championships and stuff.
They've said it's both that and the ability that they've got that emergency bans are just happening a bit more frequently. So it's just, or at least I think that's probably why it is. Well, they can just be like, we need this thing banned now, just do it on Monday.
Yeah, basically.
Because I mean, Hogak was an emergency banning, Felidar was an emergency banning in Standard, Ayavugan, I'm pretty sure, was an emergency banning. So it's just happening more and more.
Anyway, Wizard seems very happy with where Pioneer is. From putting my ear to the ground and talking to Pioneer players, I haven't personally played a lot since it first came out, but I want to. Everybody seems to be, except it's in a particularly good place. And we'll just have to wait for GPs to come along, I guess, because there's going to be a bunch of Pioneer GPs.
I am looking forward to the Pioneer GPs. I'm looking to see when the actual GP, when the first Pioneer GP actually is.
I think it's Bologna or Brussels. I can't remember. It's the one we were planning on going to and then decided not to.
Yes, potentially. Just looking, it is Brussels on January the 30th, but then January the 31st, Nagoya is also Pioneer, and February 6th in Phoenix is also Pioneer.
Yeah, they're hitting it pretty hard a month in.
Yeah, which is going to be interesting to see. That is Pioneer. And now the moment you've all been waiting for. And Will, I'm going to hand over to you for this one.
Yeah, so we are going to talk about some cards from Theros. Now, we're not madmen, and so we're not going to do a complete and utter set review, but we've all picked one card that we want to talk about.
Wait, we're not doing a full set review? Crap!
Oh no!
throw down my like 15, my like 100 sheets of paper. Just damn it!
Yeah.
But I have so much to say about Lonely Griffin and the Atlanta Falcons.
So yeah, we've all picked one card, and it's not necessarily the card that we think is the best from the set or anything like that. It's a card that that we are personally excited to see.
So my card. So my card is I think it was in the first set of cards they released for it. It's Deathbellow Warcry. It's 5 red for a sorcery. And it says, search your library for up to 4 Minotaur creature cards with different names, put them onto the battlefield, and then shuffle your library.
Oh, that's a lot of Minotaurs.
That is the most Sam card they've ever printed. When Theros was coming back, I knew we were going to get good Minotaurs just simply down to the fact that it's a Theros set. I wasn't expecting to see a rare that had Sam's name on the design team.
Yeah, Sam, you need to tell us how you broke into R&D or what you threatened Marrow with.
Oh, it's all about the horns. It's all about the horns.
Jesus. Oh my god. Please, this is for children as well.
Darn it.
Children's card game this is on.
I'm going to hazard a guess and say you're excited to play this in Commander.
Yes. I don't think this is going to see play anywhere but Commander.
No.
I've heard rumblings of people talking about it potentially in modern.
Okay, so you can technically break it. I think there's a way of just like casting this and winning the game. I'm not 100% sure.
Yes, there is. But you don't actually go searching for Minotaurs.
Yeah, if you want to break it, you play Conspiracy, which is 3 black. All your creatures are whatever creature type you want.
And
then
don't
you
even
find
do that.
the Eldrazi.
You search for changelings.
Oh, you can search for changelings, or you can do arcane adaptation.
Yep, there's that
which
as
I
well.
believe, and you just
yeah.
So you can do arcane adaptation, and you change Eldrazi to Minotaur or Demon to Minotaur, and then you go get Emrakul or Grizzlebrand or some stupid rubbish like that.
The one that I've heard is that you go searching for 3 different changelings. All of the changelings have champion. So what you do is you have a creature you have something on the battlefield. You're in red, so you can have like Perforos on the battlefield or Impact Tremors. Then you play this. You go searching for 3 changelings that all have champion. They all hit the battlefield together. One champion's the first. One champion's the first one, and then it exiles. The second one champions the one that's just done the championing and exiles that, bringing back the third one, which champions the one which is now left, and so you get infinite enter. You get infinite enter the battlefield triggers.
This is the old the 3 Oblivion Ring shuffle.
Yes, and the best thing is, as a result, all do is basically the infinite combo. They die before the during the infinite combo, so it technically doesn't count as an infinite one.
No, it has a termination. Like state-based actions are checked in between priority passes, so it has a termination.
Yeah, so I've heard rumblings that potentially you could use it in modern.
No, that's a dumb idea.
Yes, do it. I want to see Will cry. I want to see the level 1 judge cry.
Well,
to deal with triple championing. God damn loot.
So, like, it's not actually infeasible. So it's 8 mana, right? It's not actually infeasible that you could cast this in standard or modern because we have that now. The 4 mana makes 7.
The red one,
rain.
Yeah,
I can't remember what it's called. But it's not actually inconceivable that you could cast this in modern and
I mean
standard and pioneer.
There's probably ways of doing it.
Well, there's the big one that's somebody got me with in Pioneer was it's the 4 mana make 7 mana. You can only cast 1 more spell. This turn.
Ironcrag Feet.
Yeah, Ironcrag Feet. So if you have Ironcrag Feet, this, and 5 lands, that's not a tall ask. You can cast it.
Yeah, you can do it.
I think the question then is what do you get with it?
3 changelings. Infinite enter the battlefield trigger. What about this do you not understand?
Well, you're the Minotaur expert, Sam. So tell us, is there 4 good Minotaurs?
Basically, no. The best you can do is, I mean, to be fair, the best thing I can think of doing is you get Neheb the Eternal from Amonkhet, or Hour of Devastation.
The mono red one.
Yes. Mono red, every 1 life each opponent loses, you gain 1 red mana in your post-combat main phase or whatever. You get him, and then you slam down Kragmar Warcaller, who gives all your Minotaurs haste. Some other Minotaur, probably War of the Spark Neheb. Doesn't really matter what that one is. And then also Fanatic of Mogus.
I was thinking a very similar thing. I was thinking, how many red pips can I get before I drop Fanatic of Mogus?
A lot. A lot is the answer.
Yeah, that's 6 red pips right there, plus whatever else you have on field. So in theory, that's 18 mana, which you're getting off Hour of Devastation Neheb, plus whatever damage you do through combat. And then you put that onto an Exsanguinate or a Cut to Ribbons or, I don't know, Torment of Hellfire. I mean, it's
No, that seems pretty good, to be fair. Like, I think it's a very fun card, and if you build your deck around Minotaurs as you have, like even if you just go and get like a couple of Lords and a couple of Dorks, that's like pretty good. Like 4 mana, 4 bodies for 8 mana, and where these are going to be like 4 pretty good bodies in general. I think that's very fun, very playable, very slashy.
Yeah. I think the only issue I have with this card, and I think it's kind of, if we're going to go deep on the Minotaurs, it's illustrative of a difference between Armenket Minotaurs and Theros Minotaurs. Armenket Minotaurs, which were really good Minotaurs, were very aggressive. They were black-red. They're all about discard synergy, and they're all big stats. I'm going to kill you now.
Yeah.
Whereas Theros Minotaurs don't have the discard synergy. They're a lot less aggressive and a lot more kind of synergy based, I think.
Yeah.
And so getting to 8 mana with Armenket Minotaurs means you've basically lost. Getting to 8 mana with Theros Minotaurs, maybe, but I don't think there are enough good Theros. So I think it's kind of, there's a bit of a design philosophy tear between both the different sets of Minotaurs, which I think puts this card in a bit of an awkward spot.
So, I like the idea that I see this, you're so excited for it, and yet you're sat there going, I don't actually think it's that good. And I'm sat there going, the 8 mana sorcery that only gets Minotaurs might be very good. What is this world coming to?
I think you're right. It's very awkward when you've had 2 different sets, like the same tribe represented in 2 different sets with 2 different design philosophies, and I can understand that that's very frustrating.
Vampires wants to know your location.
Yes, of course. But yeah, Merfolk as well, I'd argue.
Yeah,
Like
there's
the blue-green
a
Merfolk
lot of tribes that do it.
Yeah,
I think it will work. I think it will. You can make it work because it's a good enough card for it. But
You're
I just
right.
think it's a
Yeah.
bit awkward.
Honestly, I think even if you just go and get it, if you just cast it, this is what I'm saying. If you just cast it for value, I know normally you want your 8 mana sorceries in EDH to win the game, but
we are all looking for just what kind of combo can we do, what kind of instant combo kill can we do with an 8 mana thing?
yeah. But I don't think your Minotaur deck has ever been about that, has it? You're kind of relying on the other players to stop the combo, and you can just go moo moo and then one of some things.
Can we also talk about the fact that this is a special kind of card because it's not available in booster packs?
Oh, of course not. It's in the is it in the color packs?
I believe
the
so.
packs?
It's in the theme pack, so it's in a very specific kind of pack that is designed specifically to give players a taste of what the colors do in a slightly more powered up way than the basic Planeswalker decks. But you can't get them in normal booster packs, and they're standard legal.
Oh, so they are standard legal. I was going to ask that. I wasn't sure.
These are standard legal. So there's 10 of them, and we're going to see them in standard potentially. So that's just a strange random aside point that you won't be able to get this unless you actively go and buy it. But you might see some guy sat across you at your local LGS playing this in standard.
Yeah, possibly if you're on the bottom table.
Oh, come on, man. he turns up to modern and he's got changelings. He's top tier. Watch my words. For 2 months' time, Deathblow Warcry banned in modern because of changeling combo.
Hugh, if changeling combo ever top 8s a modern GP, I will buy you your next modern deck.
There we go. We all heard it. We all heard it. And right, life, Sam. Me and you are going into training.
Hell yes.
We're doing this. We're right. We're top 8ing GP London with changeling combo, and you're going to pilot it. Will, I've been looking at Infect recently. But I might also go a bit more expensive, but only because it's you, mate.
It's fine. Well, no, it's fine because Infect is it plays blue and white now, so you can play Teferi and Oko.
It's fine. I've got 70% of the deck anyway, but we'll get to that. But yeah,
Legit question though: if this does become like a semi-viable thing in standard,
modern,
Sam, would that be a persuasion to get you to play standard?
Oh,
He's thinking.
You see, I was thinking about Pioneer. I was going to talk about this.
Oh, okay, same question goes to Pioneer then. Same question goes to Pioneer.
Hell yes, because I found a Minotaur deck in Pioneer.
Oh, God.
So
What
I was
is
going
that
to build
playing?
it. Oh, it's just a bunch of Minotaurs. And then Angrath, a few Shocks. It's just aggro Minotaurs, basically.
Okay, I'll take you to the Dice Cup. We'll play Pioneer at some point together.
That would be awesome. I can't wait. I think it's just gonna be so dumb. But apparently it can take games, and so, you know.
I think that's the nice thing about Pioneer is like lots of things can take games. It's still a bit Wild Westy, and there's a lot more even power level playing field. So like something like Deathbellow Warcry, while I don't expect it to be turning up as a 4 of, I think it might be able to get there sometime.
We'll get there. We'll get there. All right.
If not, at least it'll be a laugh.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Oh dear. Will, what about yours? What about you? What card in Theros are you most excited for?
Rage. Sing goddess of the rage of
He's
Achilles,
actually doing it.
son of Peleus, that accursed anger which brought the Greeks endless suffering and sent the mighty souls of many warriors to Hades. I want to talk about Haktos the Unscarred.
Is this the man that if I flick him in his shin, he'll die?
Yes.
I saw Haktos the Unscarred, and absolutely I did not think you'd care.
I care a lot. So I'll go over this, then I'll go over why I care. So Haktos the Unscarred is a Boros legendary creature, human warrior. It's double red, double white. And Haktos the Unscarred attacks each combat if able. As Haktos the Unscarred enters the battlefield, choose 2, 3, or 4 at random. Haktos the Unscarred has protection from each converted mana cost other than the chosen number, and he's a 6/1.
It's literally Achilles.
Yeah, it's literally Achilles. So I am a massive sucker for Greek mythology, and one of the things I'm a huge sucker for is the Iliad. All the daft stuff that goes on there, I think is brilliant. And so when they announced Haktos the Unscarred, I was like, not only does this seem actually kind of powerful in certain times, it's also so thematically on point. I love it. And I want to play with it. Clearly, the bad thing here, the worst thing about this card here is the at random part from the 2, 3, or 4.
I think that's potentially a way of making sure that it wasn't completely and totally broken.
Oh no, absolutely, because otherwise you play this in modern and just choose 4, and you're going to the races basically.
Or you play it alongside Iona's Shield of Emeria and just say, hey, you can't cast 4 drops. 4.
That's not what Iona does.
No, that's color. What's the one which is number?
Sanctum Prelate.
That's the one.
Yes. You can still do that. You just need to cast the Sanctum Prelate after you cast Haktos, which is a point that I should actually probably put in the commander deck that I'm planning to build for this guy.
I do think that is potentially going to be a little combo there little in
absolutely.
Legacy. That's the thing.
So I just think this card is really fun. They've kind of captured the unbridled rage that Achilles has during the story, and with the kind of attacks each turn he's able and is reckless and is a 6/1. And then it's a nice way of representing his Achilles heel being invulnerable to everything apart from like hitting him in his heel with the random number without making it too busted. So if you get 2 or 3, that's probably pretty meh. Getting 4 sounds real good. Like
powerful, aggressive, weak, but also incredibly strong. It's somehow managing to do 4 things at once.
Yeah. I just love this card. I think it's brilliant. I may try and play in Canadian Highlander, just to see if you can. But I think the main thing that I want to do is I mainly want to build a commander deck around him.
I'm trying to think how you'd build that commander deck around him. Yeah, you obviously play Sanctum, whatever her name is, to make sure that to make sure that your opponents can't play those coloured spells. I'm assuming you just play a lot of red burn and white exile just to get rid of anything that is a threat to him.
Yeah, basically. So the more competitive lists that I've seen have been based around giving him basically using Exalted. Exalted to buff him up, and then you put anthems in there and stuff to make him so he's not so vulnerable. And then you just try and get people with commander damage.
So even if someone does hit him, it still doesn't matter.
Yeah, basically trying to like negate the weaknesses but promote the strengths, basically. Basically being like, essentially at some point this is going to be just a better True Name Nemesis.
Eventually, yeah. I think.
Yeah. I don't think that's the road I'm going to go down, though.
Mainly because it doesn't include blue.
Well, the deck's not going to include blue. What I think I'm planning on doing here is trying to make a Iliad-based commander deck.
Okay, so you're actually going lore-based. You're actually trying to make a theme.
Yeah, so you go, like, this guy is your commander, then you jam in as many gods as you possibly can. Because if you've ever like interacted with, seen the bits of the Iliad or anything like that, you know there's just gods everywhere, and they're just messing about. So you jam in like all the red, white, and red and white.
9.
Yeah.
You can slam in 9 gods.
9? I think slam in 5.
Right. You can slam in 9. I think or might only be. You can slam in Perforos. You can slam in Heliod, and you can slam in Newbog. You can slam in Eros or Ikrios, the Boros one. You can slam in, it is 9, Aketra and Hazaret, and God Eternal Aketra, and Ilhag the Razeborn.
Okay, so I was actually only going to put in the Theros gods. I was going to go like hard Greek here, while I can. So probably just put in like the Theros gods.
You can't see what I'm doing, but I'm currently staring at my microphone with 9 fingers up, making a silly face and wiggling those fingers.
Then put in all the red white legends from Theros into the deck, and then just make all the other creatures like soldier based, and then put in a couple of anthems, some removal. So it's not going to be a good deck, but like it's been the first time I've been excited to build a commander deck for a long time.
Very flavoursome.
Yeah,
it's very flavorful. And I've got bored of my housemate complaining about my Git Rob monster deck, so I'm probably going to build this and show him what a truly bad deck is.
I like a commander deck that's got a theme around it, like a story. One of my favorite commander decks that does this is my mate Lewis's Worm commander deck, where the story is it's a load of ramp creatures into big worms. And we essentially he came up with, and I helped out, with a story that actually all of the mana dorks are the cultists summoning the worms. and ever since then, like, that was like the big thing. Like, whenever we play that deck, it's always just like, oh, here comes the cultist and worm. As we stand there holding our hands up and waving them like idiots.
That worm deck was so scary as well.
It can get crazy.
Very, very scary.
He landed a world spine worm in our game, and I think we just couldn't kill it.
The world spine worm, and there's also the 1550, the 1616 indestructible one, where we all just went, so what do we do here? We all just shrugged and decided that it was time to concede.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking for. I will love to play against that. That'll be fun. I also think limited, this thing's going to be a powerhouse.
Oh, it's going to be nuts. Yeah, absolutely nuts.
Like, this thing is going to absolutely, like, if you pull this in a pre-release, prepare to give someone at least 6 to 12 damage before they eventually manage to somehow remove it.
Yeah, definitely. Like, you pick up this and a couple of good solid removal spells. I don't think this is ever running into any trouble.
If you can fix that mana in limited, which is kind of difficult, but if you can get it, then
I mean, we've got dual lands. There's unfortunately in limited. We're unfortunate. Do we get Boros? Is there a Boros Scryland, or was that in M20?
I think it was in M20 because it
was in M20. Yeah, it was in M20. Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, like you say, you just have to mana fix and or just hope.
Yeah, basically. But I still think it's fun. I think the art's sick. I've seen many jokes about this card hasn't got legs, but Hectos definitely does have legs. But
Tish.
Yeah, I think it's cool. But that's all I really had to say about it. It's the set card I'm most excited about, and for dumb reasons.
It's just a cool card.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
It is a super cool card. It's suddenly just like pulling this is like when I'm drafting Theros, this is my first rare. That is like hard. All right, cool. We're in Boros.
Pretty hard into it, and I think Boros is pretty aggressive in this format, so it should be pretty good.
Fingers crossed. It's good. Boros is going to see a real resurgence in standard. You mark my words.
You reckon?
Yes. Well, considering the Boros mentor is like a weird, flexible one that kind of floats around, isn't quite at the top tables, but definitely still sees play. I think potentially cards like this might pop us up.
You reckon this is a good enough 4-drop for that?
Potentially. I think we'll have to wait and see.
Fair.
Yeah, there's only so much my standard knowledge does to predict the future. I just have to. I give my what I think, but I'm not 100% sure yet.
Anyway, Hugh, why don't you tell us about the card that you're excited about?
Gentlemen, what were you doing in 2015?
Failing a degree?
Failing high school.
At that moment, right? What were you doing in 2013?
Failing my A levels.
Yeah, still failing high school. That was.
What about? And I think it was actually no, it wasn't. It was 2013. Do you know what a lot of the Magic community were doing during 2013?
Were they dying to Primeval Titan?
Or 2013. They were cracking packs for value and at drafts hoping to pull a Titan. Gentlemen, those days are back with the introduction of 2 brand new Titans on the Theros block. I know we were only supposed to bring card, but sod it, I'm the leader of this podcast, and I'm throwing my weight around. Croxer, Titan of Death's Hunger, and Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath are my 2 picks, because my god do I want to play these in Standard, and my god am I absolutely pining for the days that I didn't even play Magic, where I wanted to pull a card that both entered the battlefield and attacked and gave me a good effect. Oh my. Oh my. Right. I'll do these one by one so we don't get confused. Croxer, Titan of Death's Hunger, is a black-red for a legendary creature Elder Giant, and it's a 6/6. You heard me right, a 2-drop for a 6/6.
What sort of downside must that have, Hugh?
You sacrifice it unless you made it escape. Yeah, it enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless it's escaped. However, when it does enter the battlefield or it attacks, each opponent discards a card, then each opponent who didn't discard a non-land card this way loses 3 life, and it has an escape cost of 2 black, 2 red, exile 5 other cards from your graveyard. Now, when I first read this card, I got really confused at the line, each opponent that didn't discard a non-land card this way loses 3 life. As I sat down and went, hang on a minute, why didn't they just write each opponent that didn't discard, that discarded a land loses 3 life? Until I realized that it's better than that. Because when it attacks, if your opponent has no cards in hand, they just automatically lose the 3 life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it literally reads if they don't discard something that isn't a land. So if they discard a land or if they don't discard anything, they automatically lose the 3 life.
Oh, that's brutal.
That's so sweet.
It's the fact that we've got Titans that we can technically, if we really wanted to, play on turn 4. So I can drop this Titan turn 4 in limited. Obviously, we're in Magical Christmas Land at this point. Drop this down turn 4 and just start swinging face. Because I'm going to just start making people discard and do damage. And it's 6/6. So what are you going to do about it?
I am highly dubious about your ability to get this out on turn 4.
All right, I'll tell you what. If during the pre-release that we're going to together, actually all 3 of us are going to together, if I pull one of these 2 Titans and get them out turn 4, you buy me my next modern deck.
How about I buy you a beer?
There we go. That's a bit better one. I don't even drink beer.
Oh, I'll buy you a cider.
Thank you.
Do you know what? Do you know why I'm dubious?
Go on.
I don't think you can get 5 cards in this in your graveyard by turn 4.
We will have to wait and see. Also, there is a surprisingly large amount of graveyard hate in the new Theros set because they wanted to make sure that Escape wasn't broken. There is another Titan, as I've said. Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath, is 1, a green and a blue for a 6/6 again. It's a legendary creature, Elder Giant. When it enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless it escapes. So they've both got that Oracle text. Whenever Uro enters the battlefield or attacks, you gain 3 life, draw a card, and may put a land onto the battlefield from your hand. And it escapes for 2 green, 2 blue, and exile 5.
Okay, so Hugh, I need you to hear me out here.
Go on.
Okay. We play 4 of Urano, Titan of Nature's Wrath, and 4 of Cruxia, Titan of Death's Hunger.
Yep, I'm in 4 colors already. I love it.
Yeah. Do you want to make it 5?
Can I play Heliod?
No. Well, I mean, you can, but if you play it with Walking Blister, I'm going to judge you. No. Then we play 4 of Hushbringer and 4 of Torporob.
So I just stop my things and I just stop my own stuff, causing a bit. Oh no! I have it enter the battlefield and it immediately doesn't get sacrificed. Oh my! Oh my!
You can do that in standard now.
I can do. Oh my! Gentlemen, I need to go and make a deck list. Oh my! Oh, I'm gonna make this jank work. Oh, Arena, you don't know what's about it, you. Oh my!
So I think Urano is the Euro. The
Nature's Wrath one. The one that's going to replace that's replacing Oko as the most powerful mythic in those colors.
So I hesitate to say the Wizards had a bit of a green problem recently. I think this has been like nothing's been spelt upon the fact that green's gone from being what was colloquially generally described as being the worst color to being the best color in standard for a while.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think Euro might be the latest symptom of that. I'm not going to lie.
It's the fact that it's a combination of multiple different cards all in one. Because the gaining 3 life is just the basic, hey, gain some life amount that Wizards like to go to. And the draw a card and put a land card onto the battlefield is what's it called? It's a card from
Spiral.
Growth Spiral.
Growth Spiral, that's the one. It's a growth spiral. It's literally a growth spiral on a stick with a better ability. Now, Uro, I'd argue, is much better for a deck that you're wanting to either ramp in or wanting to draw, or basically start drawing 3 decks, do a bit more combo-y. Cruxer is definitely better for a more aggro-based deck, but you're still in Simic and you're still swinging with a 6/6 and bearing down on the person. Yeah. These things, if you can drop them in standard, they are going to be a nightmare. I can't wait.
I mean, Cruxer more than Euro that will end games quicker. But I think Euro, the amount of value that gets, because on turn 3, the fact that you can just skip a turn, draw a card, and gain 3 life is ridiculous. It helps you against, it ramps you, and it helps you against aggro. Like, it's brutal. Like, I've heard people floating around that they reckon this is even good enough for Modern. Like, put this in the Simic Titan deck. It's
just big and brutal and just I remember people like when Core Draft turned up on Magic Online, people were talking about the fact that the Titans were just the absolute bombs of that draft experience. And I'm just looking at these going, this is the absolute bombs of the draft experience of Theros, with the downside that you're never going to pull them. and one person on the table is, and they're just going to ruin your time on that table because they're just going to swing at you and somehow get these out on turn 4 every game.
Do you know what I want to do? I want to play Euro in Modern and play in a deck that plays Thought Scour.
Oh my.
Thought Scour turn 1, Thought Scour something else turn 2, into Euro turn 3, cast it turn 4.
There's a couple of different ideas that you can do with this. They're going to be brutal. They are absolutely both going to see play in Standard. Whether or not one will see significantly more play than the other, but they're both going to see play. They're both going to get brutal, and I'm going to play neither of them in paper because I'm never going to pull one, literally ever.
These are going to be £8 trillion, so let's accept this.
They are the big mythics of the set. These are the Hydroid Crassus of this set. They're the big game-ending mythic cards that people will just want.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're in 2 and the fact that they're in 4 colors as well essentially means that it's not just like you don't have to just be in Simic to get these. You can be in all 4 colors except for white, because white needs to be middle fingered by wizards at every single opportunity.
Unless they want to print an infinite combo.
Yeah, and unless they want to get Walking Ballista banned in Modern.
I won't be crying over that. I'm not going to lie. I hate Walking Ballista.
I am absolutely convinced that Walking Ballista is going to get banned in Modern.
I think it's going to get banned in Pioneer first.
I honestly, I think we're going to see just an absolute heavy ban hammer for this, because just looking at that infinite combo is making me cry.
So apparently it should be a bit more destructible than Splinter Twin, but like, I don't know what impact it's going to have in Modern. I think it's going to decimate Pioneer for about a month.
Oh yeah, that I agree with you. That is going to be the next Pioneer banning. But again, it's one of those we'll have to wait and see moments. But it is the fact that looking at these 2 cards, it's clear that Wizards were like, "What about Y?" And then someone pointed at Heliod, and they just went, "Oh yeah, good point," and went back to working on them.
So, when does Hydro Crisis rotate out of Standard?
Not for another half a year or 9 months, because we're currently 5 sets in. This will be the 6th set in Standard, which means that we get 2 more, and then we get this one, 2 more, 9 months. 9 months time is when Ravnica and M20 rotate out.
So when it does rotate out, do you think Urano will be a viable replacement for
Crassus? Crassus is being used in a very different way, because Euro requires a bit more workaround to get him out, whereas Crassus is much more along the lines of I've got 6 spare mana.
It kind of does, but it does so much more early game. Like,
no,
you probably
true.
Cry a little bit inside if you have a Crisis turn, like in your opening hand.
I would also cry if I had a Crisis.
Me too.
I think I'd be very happy if I had this in my opening hand.
Oh yeah, the fact that it's a turn 3, I get 3 life, a card, and potentially a land. It's just good.
Yeah.
It's the fact that you play it turn 3, and then as a result, you should have the 4 lands and it in the graveyard to be able to then get it out.
Yeah.
It's a nice little way of dealing with things. Like whatever happens with them, I'm gonna play them. I'm now going to play them in a 5-color Abomination variant. Thank you, by the way.
You're welcome.
But we'll have to wait and see, because it turns out going more than 3-color in Standard right now is really tricky.
That's always a good sign. I'm not going to lie. When 4-color decks turn up in Standard, it gets me a bit nervous.
We've only got 1 card in Standard which taps. We've only got 1 land in Standard which taps at everything, and it's
Plaza.
Yeah, Gateway Plaza. That's the
yeah.
one. And and you can't even tap it on the turn it comes out, because it enters the battlefield and immediately gets tapped. And it's like, joy.
Yeah.
I have to wait, and I've got to tap them out.
How's Fabled Passage doing in in Standard. Is that still
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Literally everywhere. I hate it. It's my least favorite card. It sucks. It's not a rare. It's an uncommon at best. I hate the fact it's over £10 just because everyone's playing it. Because the moment this rotates out of Standard, watch it be 50 pence. It's going to be plummeting in value. I've got 2 foil versions of them that I'm going to throw at a vendor at GP London in the summer.
You need to get a shot of those.
Yes, I do, because I don't want them. I've got 2 of them. I'm looking at them and I'm like, I want these gone now, because these are like 30 quid altogether. They will get me cards that will actually do me something, and not the moment they rotate out, basically become glorified coasters.
Yeah, you can buy a lot of Titans for that.
No, I would. Yeah, I could. Yeah, I can buy probably half €1.
I cannot wait for them to rotate out and go down in price, because they are just going to be Commander staples.
There are so many cards that I look at. Like, I play Standard a lot, and you can see the cards that are expensive in Standard, and you can just see the ones that are going to plummet the moment they're out. It's like when Standard was like an absolute pinnacle during Kaladesh, and what's the blue Gear Hulk? Torrential Gear Hulk was like 30 quid. And everyone was just looking at it going, watch it plummet when it heads out of Standard. And then it went out of Standard and it went into about the £5 range.
Yeah, it's a tenner now. It's only going to go up as well.
Yeah, that's because it's suddenly starting to see play in Pioneer.
Pioneer.
Yeah, as it turns out, Pioneer, where cards that require a lot more money. Oh, well, it's fine. I'll just bring bad Standard decks.
Anyway, these cards are super cool. I love the design of, like, you can't just cast them, you've got to get them back from the underworld.
Exactly. They have to escape. They are actual, like, issues that are escaping. It's thematically cool.
The flavor win. Titans.
Oh, yeah. Proper flavor win.
The flavor of this entire set is... Oh, God,
it's always brilliant.
Yeah.
I love Theros. Theros might be one of my favorite... might be one of my favorite planes. Just because of how flavorful they make them all. And they always manage to get, like, a really good reprint in there.
Which one's the really good reprint at the moment?
Idyllic Tutor.
Oh, of course it's getting a good reprint. I forgot about that.
Idyllic Tutor's something daft like 30 quid or something.
It's a nice little reprint, and it's only in rare. They haven't upshifted it to Mythic, which means that it should still be available.
Yeah, definitely.
It should be good. All right. Yeah, enough about me blubbing over Titans. Shall we introduce the next, more personal area?
More personal. So it's a new year for everybody. It's a new year of Magic the Gathering. And so we thought we'd have a nice little chat about our Magic the Gathering New Year's resolutions, what we want to improve about ourselves in our new Magic year. Why don't you start us off, Hugh? What are you hoping to do this year?
My New Year's resolution is that I am going to go to a GP main event.
Oh,
you're not actually playing a main event?
I'm going to play a main event. That is my resolution. I've been to 2 GPs before, and I know that's not many for someone who does a Magic-based podcast, but one of them I couldn't go to because I was on holiday at the time, and both times I did side events. I want to go ahead and do a main event, and I don't mind if it's going to be a draft main event, a Pioneer, a Standard, or a Modern, because I plan to have a deck for every single one of them, and I want to go in. That is my resolution, because I want to try proper competitive Magic.
Fair. How are you on your Comprel playing?
I like to think I'm pretty good. We'll have to wait. We'll have to wait and see when I get my 3rd warning for staring at the guy's cards and going, "What does it do?" We'll have to wait and see. William, what's your one?
So I actually have 2. One of them's about me as a player, and one of them's about me as a judge. So me as a player, I want to play either some form of Modern or Pioneer where I don't play blue.
We did it.
Dude, I can't wait for December.
Yeah, I will have failed by then. No, I want to play a color combination that's not blue. And I have no idea what I want to play. I've had a lot of fun playing mono black in Canadian Highlander. So maybe going in and playing some Garys in Pioneer might be my approach, particularly now they're reprinting Underworld Dreams, which is one of my favorite cards.
Hey man, you want to come and do mono black in standard with me? I've got your deck list.
maybe.
It doesn't work at the moment, but Gary's being printed, and that's going to make it work.
Gary's one of the FNM promos.
Oh yeah, he's good.
Yeah, it's sexy Gary. So that's like me as like a player. That's what I want to do, because I've basically since the dawn of time played blue, and it's kind of fallen into like an identity that I have. Like I turn up on an FNM and it's like, oh, it's Will. He's going to be playing either Jeskai or blue red or blue something.
At least he admits it.
Yeah. So playing something else might be an interesting thing.
Is there a specific color you're thinking about?
Not really. Like I might end up trying Haktos in Pioneer, trying to do like a red-white aggro deck with Haktos as like the top end. But I'm not sure. Like you might be able to do something like 8 Rabble or something, because there's a lot of Rabble Masters knocking about. So I think Goblin Rabble Masters in Pioneer. If not, do like Legion War Boss or something, and doing like a red-white mid-range deck type thing. Otherwise, I'm not really sure. Like I should probably play green, but I kind of hack up like bile every time I think about playing green in something that's not Commander.
Do it.
So,
mate, I've got a mono green deck you can play as well.
Yeah. Well, two of my favorite cards from recent history have been Golta the Primal Hunger, and what's the elf? The 3-mana 5/4 elf that can't be blocked by.
Oh, Steel Leaf Champion.
All that. And mono green's apparently pretty good in Pioneer, so I might give that a crack, honestly.
I played Golta Primal Hunger in Merfolk.
I'm sorry.
It did really well. It worked. It did its thing. Anyway, what about your Judge one?
My Judge one is a bit more. So just in general, I want to judge more because I don't get a lot of opportunities to judge around where I live. And the specific goal I have for the end of 2020 is I want to be able to judge Comprel events.
Okay, so go up to level 2.
Not necessarily go up to level 2, because having to go up to level 2 involves a lot more other stuff. I don't necessarily have time to, but I want to understand the rules to the point where, and the specifically the tournament rules and all the tournament penalties and stuff, where if I took the rules part of the L2 exam, I could pass it. And
okay.
Where I can go around to shops and go, look, if you've got a Comprel event happening, give me a call. Partly for my own fascination, and I would adore to like work at a GP, and being able to judge Comprel at a GP is a big bonus. But I think it just made I had a lot of fun becoming an L1 this year, and I think focusing on Comprel and playing a bit more Comprel and judging some Comprel might be very good for me. So Sam, what are your New Year's resolutions?
I've just got the one really. I'd just like to what I would like to do is by the end of this year I'd like to, it might be a bit awkward with like, school and stuff, but what I would like to do is I'd like to try a constructed format that's a bit more competitive than EDH, so I can regularly go to FNM and just play that format. Right now I'm thinking Pioneer.
It is the time.
It is the time. And I have found a Minotaur deck, which is relatively cheap, that I can bust out. So that's what I would like to do. I'd like to try and get into a bit of a more regular kind of Magic the Gathering community down at a store.
I mean, mate, it's fine. We've already discussed that you're going to top 8 with with Changeling combo, and that's important. So you're going to do it already.
That's so true. What am I thinking? I should really do modern.
There you go. You'll be absolutely fine. I think it's a good one.
Yeah, it's a very admirable goal to try and like branch out format.
I mean, yeah. So far, I feel like I've done a lot of wacky stuff. Like I've done a couple of cool, weird formats that are really fun and they're awesome, and they're kind of like good for startups and like good for bringing new people into the game. But I'd quite like to try something that's a bit more like involved, I think. So I'm excited.
Well, give me a bell and I'll take you to play some Pioneer one night.
Woo! We're gonna have the gang Pioneer event. It'll be sweet.
Everyone turns up, and then I turn up with Etherflux Reservoir combo, and I get the card banned, and they're just like, "That's the guy," and I'm like, "I'm the guy." Oh my word! And on that not lovely little note, we shall end it there. Thank you ever so much for watching Chillin and Millin. Happy 2020.
Happy 2020.
Happy 2020. Have a good one.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.